This is the final round involving all three contestants. The last two will make it to the final round in a sort of winner-take-all matchup, 10,000 points or no points. But first, let's look at our third round rules. Again, everything is doubled from the second round. Everything's doubled from round to round. A great take nets you 800 points, a good take 400, an okay take 200, and a bad take, again, you get absolutely nothing. Let's talk about that game last night in the City of Sin, Las Vegas, Nevada, where the Green Bay Packers fell to the Raiders 17-13 in what was, I wouldn't even call it necessarily a defensive battle, more so than it was just a poorly quarterbacked game by both teams. Props to Jimmy Garoppolo. He made the plays late. Devontae Adams was barely involved in the Raiders still were able to get the W over the Packers. Jordan Love struggled badly, throwing for barely over 100 yards, 3 interceptions, no touchdowns. I think he had a QBR below 15, a passer rating in the 30. So a bad night for Jordan Love. And frankly, before I even start with you, Alfred, to just give sort of my mini take, I'm not going to lie, the way that Green Bay called that game in terms of not really letting Love take shots down the field, putting the ball in A.J. Dillon's belly seemed like over and over and over, not really trusting their quarterback, said a lot about where they're at. So I'll start with you, Alfred, as a guy of the fan of a team that took Green Bay's Hall of Fame quarterback and put them in the spot where they have Jordan Love. Obviously, that was by design for the Packers' purpose. Do you think the Packers will be in the quarterback market in 2024?
I don't think so. And here's why I don't think so. Everybody has to remember, this is Jordan Love's first season of actual NFL game action. Similar to when Aaron Rodgers got drafted and he had to sit behind Brett Favre for a number of years. Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for a number of years, and mentoring and practices can only take you so far. But that'll never prepare you alone for NFL game action during the regular season. You can take all the preseason snaps you want. It's not gonna prepare you for the competitive atmosphere that is NFL regular season football. Jordan Love, it's just growing pains. And if they're going to be in the market for a quarterback for next season, then they basically say, well, we gave up on this kid after one season, which is not very common in the NFL. We've seen bad quarterbacks, and not to say that he's going to be bad, because, again, this is only his first season of being an NFL starter, but we've seen bad quarterbacks a la Jamarcus Russell and the Raiders get somewhat of a leash of a couple of seasons before the team moves on from him. I just think it's a matter of seasoning. Again, the kid never took he took very few snaps through a number of years in the regular season when Rodgers was there. And not to mention the Packers, they went into that game banged up. There was no Aaron Jones last night. So, it's just I don't want to, I hate to say it, but they're in a rebuild despite the fact that they had a good first couple of weeks. I don't see the Packers as a playoff team. So, again, I think it's just growing pains. I don't think they're going to give up on him after just one season of being a starter. And again, we've seen several quarterbacks in the league that became Hall of Famers struggle the first year or two. Not that I'm saying that Love's going to be a Hall of Famer, but again, we've seen quarterbacks struggle in their rookie year, second year, and then by year 3 or 4, they're putting up solid numbers. So, I say give Jordan Love some time. But I can't imagine the Packers ready to get another quarterback, especially when it was safe to say, looking at the beginning of the season before the year started, you couldn't have expected them to be competitive. Not after losing Rodgers and Alan Lazard. So.
Yeah. Again, both of them are New York Jets now. Obviously, one is rehabbing, but who knows? Maybe he'll be back by season's end. You never know. Just sneak a little Jets talk there. But no, that's fair points. Listen, yeah, you mentioned Jamarcus Russell. The only refute I would have to that is Jamarcus Russell was the first pick in the draft, and that was his rookie year. So you kind of had to give him time, and obviously he did not come anywhere close to panning out into what someone hoped him to be. To you, Eric, now, do you think the Packers, given Jordan Love's struggles through the first 5 games and some pretty underwhelming performances, do you think by 2024, if they're bad enough, that they'll be in the quarterback market potentially to draft one?
I think it would take a lot of very bad performances from Jordan for them to give up on him this quickly. I think we've seen the potential with him. He has crazy arm talent. He can move really well. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Seems like his teammates like him a lot. So he seems like a guy that you want to build around. It's just going to be a matter of, can he eliminate those mistakes, start making better decisions out there, reading the defense a little bit better, just kind of controlling the offense as a whole. But like Alfred said, I I think the Packers aren't really in a urgent win now situation. Maybe like the Jets are. Their roster isn't quite that good. So I don't think it really hurts them to build around Jordan for a couple more years. Unless every game for the rest of the year looks like the one last night did. I don't see a reason to move on from Jordan yet. I still think he could be a very, very, very good quarterback in this league. And I did go to high school with him, so I'm a little biased as well.
That's interesting. I did not know you went to high school with Jordan Love. There you go. So listen, I respect the loyalty to him. Listen, I completely understand. Okay, listen, within a 1 hour radius of where I live, Jason Witten went to high school. So listen, I understand the loyalty to the hometown there. To you, Devin, finally, do you think the Packers, given Jordan Love's struggles, may or may not be in the quarterback market in 2024?
Are we talking about as going into the draft as a looking
just the off season?
I think you keep your options open. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you have to completely give up on Jordan Love, because that's not the question. The question is, should they bring in some maybe a mentor, maybe a veteran quarterback that can kind of mentor him to actually get him through, the rough patches, anything in that nature. But far as I think the Packers, yes, you got to keep your options open. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that you got to completely go away from them, but what if let's just say hypothetically, a Justin Herbert or somebody come trade bait now? You're not going to actually just be like, man, I don't know. Should we not think about Justin Herbert over Jordan Love? This is something we need to think about, or I mean. But if a good quarterback is out there, yes, you should keep your eye on them and try to think about, is this the best fit for your team? Like I said, I'm not completely giving up on Jordan Love yet, but I think to have another guy ready underneath for Jordan Love, or put some fire under Jordan Love, will make him kind of put a little bit of pressure onto him a little bit more. Maybe he'll come into the offseason a little bit different. I'm not saying he didn't come to offseason prepared this year, but maybe he'll come in there a little different, because now he got a target on his back. He got somebody that's looking to take his job or anything in that nature. So I just think that we most definitely keep your options open, but I'm not completely giving up on Jordan Love.
That's fair. Although I would say that, and I understand he wasn't playing the last 3 years. That's why this is kind of like in a weird way, his rookie year. Although it is year 4, and he did get the chance to sit behind 3 years, and so did Rodgers. And we saw flashes that first year in Green Bay where we saw some potential of a really special player. But that guy again, who's with the New York Jets now, he was a veteran quarterback, and he was with Jordan Love. You can even tell him Jordan Love's like throwing motion and footwork at times. It reminds you a lot of Aaron Rodgers to a certain respect. So listen, they did have that veteran quarterback there, to be fair, but I understand what you're saying. A lot of comments, won't be able to get to all of them, but let's look at a few here. Let's see. Shaheem Taylor says he played against the Chiefs last year and lost by 3, Alfred. And he says, you don't watch my Packers. So he's a Packers fan. That's interesting. You got a Packers fan defending his quarterback. Clint Alexander says he needs more reps for certain. Jordan Love does, and the coaching staff needs to be better at putting him in positions to succeed, utilizing what he does best. Shaheem, again, the Packers fan, says Packers will keep Love next year. We have 2 receivers that are 2 years in, a rookie tight end, and a defense that just can't stay healthy. One more comment. Sincere Brown says Jordan has to work on his awareness. He keeps going for the home run ball too much. You can't give up on him just yet. He has to just work on his decision making. He's young. He looks better than Bryce. He definitely looks better than Bryce, although I'd argue that he's certainly, and the Packers offensive line hasn't been as good as I thought they'd be this year, but his offensive line's certainly better. I think every offensive line is better than the one in Carolina, maybe even the Giants offensive line. The Panthers O-line is really bad, and Bryce obviously is a 5'9" rookie, so there is obviously some of the physical limitations there, no question about that. I'll start with you, Alfred. I'm actually going to be giving an okay take here. Okay, but the only reason I say that is because you were talking about how it is his first year starting. But again, I would make the case that, hey, it's year 4. Again, we saw Aaron Rodgers. We saw flashes from him rookie year. Even though the Packers went 6-10, I wouldn't – you talk about the Packers aren't in a contending situation. Well, the Packers weren't in a contending situation in 08, and still we saw Rodgers. I mean, I was looking at his highlight tape from that year the other day. I'm like, oh, my God, like we should have seen this coming from a mile away. We haven't really seen that with Jordan Love, and you can make the case he's actually looked worse and worse through the first 5 games of the season thus far. So there's a little bit of a concern in that regard. Eric, I'm going to give you a good take. So you're tied with Alfred here at 800 points. Not just because you went to high school with Jordan Love. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. But listen, your belief in sort of the tangible aspects of him in terms of the arm strength, in terms of the size. I don't know if I totally agree with you in the decision-making department. It seemed like that's kind of regressed. Certainly was in a bad spot last night. But I kind of understand where you're coming from to a certain degree. So I'll give you the good take there for your take. And finally, Devin's in first place. He's moving on to the final round with 1,000 points. Again, solid take there. You're talking about give him time, maybe bring in a new veteran. That's an interesting take I haven't thought about before. But this is a first in the history of the 8 o'clock spot. So Devin's automatically, he's moving on to the final round. We've got a tie here between Eric and Alfred, so we don't have anything in the rules to sort of like prevent this. So what do you say? You want to do like a coin toss or anything, like a best 2 out of 3? You want to do something like that? Because I was going to say,
I was going to say,
I got a coin right here,
but why don't you just put all 3 in the final round?
You know what? Done. Here we go. We just make up rules on the fly for the 8 o'clock spot. Yeah, okay, let's do that. So